Some people say that Sanji and him unlocking his Germa genes in the exoskeleton is basically shitting on the sacrifice of Sora. And to me, I mean, I see Randy's already disgusted. To me, it's absolutely stupid. But I mean, anyone who wants to take the floor, please go ahead and start, because I'm sure we all have a lot to say on this.
Sora is the MVP. This whole situation.
Yeah, she is.
That's it. She's the one who won. All right. I mean, I said it in my video. First of all, he was with Judge, so she already knew what the deal was. It was only until he was like, "Hey, I want to take their emotions away too," and that whole characterization is only going to make sense to us when we get like some sort of a Judge flashback, when we understand whatever happened to the original Germa Kingdom, whatever happened, with Mads, that his emotions got in the way of obtaining something that he needed. Maybe that's why, the Germa Kingdom is on the move on those snails. He did something happened to him with his emotions, so he wanted to prevent that from his children. He was already planning to make them stronger. And now, I've said this too, if you are a parent, you want to protect your children. So no one's going to say, all right, hold up, so this, you want to make them indestructible? They're going to be protected for life? There's no way Sora wouldn't have said, all right, that's cool. It's just the emotion aspect. She did what she did. Mm-hmm. She did what she did to protect emotions, and that worked with Sanji and to a certain extent with Reiju. Not 100%, I don't know. Maybe it's like 50% Reiju has emotions.
Judge did the thing where like she can't disobey Judge. Like something like genetic location about that. Like she can't disobey her father at all. Yeah.
But here's the thing too, is that it's going to come out also that everything that Judge did is going to be the key thing that actually nerfs all of his other children.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sanji's kindness, Sanji's emotions are going to actually unlock the full potential of everything that Judge wanted to accomplish. So now we're kind of seeing things from a perspective that we didn't see with the other Germa. When Sanji had to go and get his face restructured, whereas Sanji just is standing up. He's got healing. He's Wolverine right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the other Germa don't have that. So something went wrong there that went right with Sanji.
Sanji, yes.
That's where we are, and Sora's the winner. She got a child that has emotions and is protected and is hero.
Yeah. I mean, let me say this too. So one thing that we have to think about when it comes to like the Japanese, as far as I understand at least, the Japanese view of blood types, when you look at Sanji's blood type, and he's SRH negative, the same with Yonji, Ichiji, and Niji. But because of her sacrifice, when you think about the blood type personality spectrum in Japan, how they believe that a lot of folks have the same personality, or they have their blood type indicates their personality. Sanji being so different from his other brothers is a blessing in a sense. And because his power, you could argue, comes from his emotion in many respects. And you can see how Ichiji, Niji, Yonji were so emotionless when they were going to die, when they were coating candy. Parents were about to lick these boys clean. And it was like, you know what? Listen, I'm freaked out. These are my kids. I modified them to be superhuman, and they don't care about being licked to death. But Sanji was the only guy running after them. I gotta save Reiju. I gotta save my family. The fact that his emotions are like a core part of his power with the fire, obviously. The fact that he's able to regen, like not just, dent in, regen, actually, like snap back into place. And he's still confused, like, what's going on? And Queen is no slouch of power by any measure. And the fact that when you think about
masters.
Hockey masters for me. I'm like, wow, the
he
clouds.
was a Walking Dead zombie and he came back to life. I'm like, whoa. That just completely floored me. And then on top of all that, when you think about this is Sora and her doing, keeping the emotion inside Sanji, and knowing that the two most important people that were to him outside of Zeb when he was a kid were Reiju and Sora, both women, which is part of the reason why one of the reasons why he values women so highly. It's like it's masterful on Oda's part. Like he just over the course of X amount of chapters from Bada TA to now, it works. I don't know how he does it, but it just works masterfully. Honestly, I love it, dude. I love it, man. Like Jesus, man, this dude.
No other power up in the series had the level of foreshadowing and forethought than this did. You know, I mean, like you look at some of the other power ups that we got in the series. You may get a little bit of hint here and there, but it's like I remember weekly these lobby, you know, the Gear second chapter, like hold up, what's happening? Like we getting Super Saiyan right now?
Right.
And we had to get the line later on that it was like my fight with Aokiji is what helped me develop this, but we never saw anything from Oda. Luffy like training, developing, trying to figure that out, and the same thing with like Ashura. But even then, Diable Jambe was like the easiest thing to kind of get behind. Like, okay, he spins around, it's on fire, okay. But now we had a whole arc foreshadowing this entire arc. There's, you know, we're not getting a Rayleigh flashback. We're not getting a Gastino flashback to give us any sort of insight on what's happening here. Right?
Low-key chopper slander. Low-key, but we'll let it go. I'm just saying. JoyGirl, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I'm not upset. I'm just saying. It ain't me.
All right, again, JoyGirl, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'll leave Chrissy to comment on this. They're giving Chopper. There's some slander on Chopper over here.
Hey, I'm not a Chopper hater. I'm not a Chopper hater. The Gastino flashback did kind of come out of nowhere, and it was just like, okay, you know, we here. 30-minute monster chopper. All right. But this is we don't have to get a flashback with Sanji because we had a whole arc telling us what was going to happen. And I mean, there's like a lot of people in the community acting like Whole Cake Island didn't exist, and they're just like, well, where did this come from? We read Whole Cake Island.
Yeah. And then like even like before they argue in Fishman Island when he had. I mean, even as a Sanji fan, like my waiver, I mean, I was starting to falter, like, wait, whoa, this is a little bit too much with the mermaids and the nosebleeds and the fountain of blood, all kind of stuff. But even in the midst of that, by the way, he has a very unique blood type, something called SRH negative. And then, yeah, he gets it from these two solid Okama lads. Shout out to them. But the fact that even then, the blood type and the blood situation was important with Sanji and how that now plays a role with his own, you know, genetic DNA and his lineage factors and how he's now transforming and how the raid suit played a role in that. The second time he wore the raid suit, when it just so happens that he wound up spewing a lot of blood on his own raid, it's like, maybe that's not the case, but that's why I think ultimately after they modify the raid suit, after Wano Country, after we have Sanji once again, you know, visit Germa and, you know, find out what's going on, I think Oda's I think he has everything planned out until the end of the series, clearly with Sanji. Like, it's very clear. It's all going to be there. It's all going to make sense. And it flows like a babbling brook on a Sunday morning. It's smooth. It works. It works so well, dude. I can't with Sanji. It's so good. I'm sorry. Like, look, again, maybe it's going crazy here. I think he's the best written character in Wano Country. Now, that could be going crazy here, but he had the raid suit, invisibility powers, which he wanted when he was a kid, ever since we see in Thriller Bark, and how it comes into play with, you know, him actually protecting Momonosuke and also enhance his own unique powers. I mean, it's just like, come on. It's like, how much more do you...
By the end of Wano, people will be more inclined to agree when we get, like, we're seeing the foreshadowing. We're seeing the things like Sanji being the one to say, hey, way to say your name like a man, Momo. Like, that's foreshadowing.
Yeah.
When Sanji, chapters from now, will be able to accept the Vince Smoke name in some sort of fashion, where he'll have that growth. That growth is being set up right there. But I just remember you guys were talking about the complaints about why hasn't Sanji put the raid suit on yet and all this stuff. I just need to take a moment to say that when he puts it on, he'll put it on. But for right now, he's got one of the cleanest outfits that he has ever had.
The burgundy.
This wine drip.
Oh.
is fantastic. And it was like one of the things that when they started going to Onigashima, I was like, man, he's got the gloves too, the wine. Oh man, when he puts the raid suit on, it's like a waste of an outfit. But Oda has not wasted this outfit at all.
No.
So JoyGirl, Stoneway, your thoughts on the Sora situation? How do you feel about it?
Oh, I mean, I would completely agree as well. I was surprised that people felt that way. I think that's a clear big win for Sora. I don't think, like you guys said, I don't think there was any part of Sora that didn't want her children to be strong. She had no problem with her children being strong without being it was the idea of being, emotionless monsters. She wanted them to keep their humanity. So this is a huge W for Sora. The Sanji can be strong, he can keep his powers, and then he can also have his humanity. His humanity's preserved, and it was he didn't have to follow Judge. He hasn't followed Judge's footsteps, but then he still gained the power. And it's such a big L for Judge in that sense. The fact that Judge, called him his failure, kicked him out, and it's proof that he could be a monster, you can still be a monster without actually being an emotionless, villainous monster. And he's actually Judge's greatest success.
Yes.
Thanks to Sora. Sora. Sanji's the reason why the Vinsmoke family survived that whole cake. It's and that it's just continuing to get payoffs, well into the Wano arc as well. And, if we're going back to that Momo moment as well, again, Sanji was the one able to commend Momo and say, great job there, because Sanji has been in those situations and he knows, the deep layered meaning behind all of that.
Oda is constantly giving Sanji W's.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've actually said that. I know that a lot of people say that Oda hates Sanji whenever things things happen to Sanji. But I've actually made a video that says it seems sort of like Oda really loves Sanji to the point that Sanji's almost like a reflection of Oda.
Oda himself.
Within
Yes.
One Piece.
Yes.
Within
Yes.
One Piece. He's
Sanji
right.
and Usopp.
Yeah, Usopp. For sure, but there's so many.
Randy, my boy, yo. Randy, my boy, yo. I'm about to I need donate, yo. Randy, what's your PayPal? I need donate. I need donate. JoyGirl too. Get some donations. I'm tired. Let's go. Let's get it. Thank you. Oh my God. Wow.
You were saying
it feels so good. It feels so good, dude. It's fine, because it's oh yeah, Sanji's not the rawest guy. He's not flying through the clouds, going across the 7 seas and the 9 mountains and the great worlds. It's no, he doesn't need to be though, because he's still clean in his own awesome way.
Right, and he's doing that Batman in the shadows stuff.
Yeah,
and everybody gets out of situations. Eni's lobby, Alabasta. So many times the whole crew would be dead if it was not for him. Right?
No, man.
Who is the person that Luffy let lead the crew? Half of the crew.
Right.
And just for herself.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
There's so many moments that I feel just fly under the radar for people, and everybody wants to say, "Oh, but the nosebleed in Fishman Island." All right, yeah. I mean, come on, that wasn't his best moment. But I mean, there is such greatness. There's such greatness. Oda uses Sanji as a device sometimes. That's what you do as a writer, right? Having Sanji be the person that shows you how strong Virgo is, how strong Doflamingo is, how strong Black Maria is, setting up a win for Robin, who needed one. This is what he uses Sanji for, and there's nothing wrong with that.
JoyGirl, I wanted to give you a chance to finish because you were mentioning that Sanji's a reflection of Oda himself. Is there more you wanted to add on to that?
I mean, I think we're all in. It seems that we're all in agreement here, but it seemed. But yeah, there's lots of story elements that Oda's made with Sanji's character. The fact the swirly eyebrows, the fact that that's the design within the devil fruit. But even just on a personal level, Oda's a smoker. Oda married a Nami cosplay artist.
Oda signs his name with the eyebrow.
Yeah, exactly. He's in the Oda. Yeah, exactly.
And the Oda part of his name means way more than the than his first name. Like, that's his surname, and he is putting the Sanji swirl on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This swirl right here on the merch.
I need to get
this man.
You don't think?
at this point, I need to get a hoodie that just has a Sanji swirl, just right in the middle. That's
Yeah,
it.
pretty
Nothing
much,
else.
yeah.
That's all I need.
Like a silhouette, blonde, yellow, and then swirl it up. Yeah, that's what you need, pretty much.
So before we move on to the next topic, I guess I'll just add my thoughts on the Sora thing. And I had someone message me asking, did I think it was an insult to Sora's sacrifice? And this seems to be coming from the same school of thought where people believe Sanji needs to apologize to Zoro or Luffy or something, or that Zoro needs to find out about what happened to Whole Cake, and then Sanji needs to apologize. That's a whole thing. That's a whole thing that I dealt with as well. And I think
Joy Boy start that?
No. This is a long Twitter. This is a Twitter. This is like a big Twitter thing, and it moved into YouTube a little bit. But
yeah, Twitter toxicity.
Oh my goodness, But I would say
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Well, I think it's unnecessary because I think Luffy and Sanji resolved it amongst themselves, and Nami saw it firsthand. She forgave him too. I don't think there's anything else. It's case
like Luffy
closed.
said point blank, "I need you.
Yeah,
I need you to be Pirate King." It's like. I mean, maybe the idea here would be, okay, well, Zoro and Sanji fight out if we want to take Zoro's ideas with Usopp we saw in Enies Lobby, Water 7, but I'm not too sure if that's something that is that prevalent nowadays in the story. Like, I'm not too sure exactly why that's the case. We're not seeing it, but hey.
Yeah.
I'm just always open for, like, more drama in the story.
Same.
In a way, yeah,
nice.
yeah.
That's the only issue that I have with, like, post time skip. There's been a lot of focus on the scabbards. Can't wait for Wano to be over so we can start focusing on the crew again a little more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Not that they're not cool or anything, but they're just not as developed as I would like. So, but at the same time, you have these elements where you can kind of go back in a pre time skip and you can find those real dramatic moments. Water 7, the chapter where they're just on the ship walking it out about the going merry is one of the strongest chapters that Oda has ever written.
Yes, I agree with that.
Such tension, such drama, and having a chapter like that where Sanji and Zoro just sort of hash some things out, like brother to brother, like that could be. Does it need to involve the whole crew? No. But it's like I still think for Sanji fans, for the Zoro fans, and for like the story itself, I think that there needs to be some part of this story before it ends where Luffy is out of commission or things get split up and Zoro has that chance to do what Sanji did at Zou, sort of take the crew, lead that a little bit, because he's technically the vice captain, so we need to see him in more of a vice captain role at some point. I want to see that. And, that's where that sort of conversation could happen. But now is not the time for it, because there's a whole war going on.
I think it's a bit of a misunderstanding of Zoro's character to think that there needs to be sort of like Zoro reprimanding Sanji for what happened. I think the situation between Sanji and the comparison, I guess, is to Usopp leaving. I think it's a huge difference. I think, Usopp leaving, it wasn't, it was based in like real emotions and real concerns that he had, but it was sort of also on a whim. It was more about challenging the captain. It was challenging Luffy's decision as a captain of what to do as a crew. Whereas Sanji, it's a completely sort of different scenario, and like you guys also said, this is something that's been dealt with from Luffy, and I also think Zoro and Sanji understand each other a lot more than people think. Way more than people think about the understanding that exists between these brothers. And Luffy agreed to the duel with Sanji. And I think it's something that's been handled. I think also Zoro was also worried about the fact that they're going to go attack a Yonko. They're going to be fighting a Yonko now. So I think a part of him would be appreciating that Sanji didn't want danger to be coming to the crew. So that's what I would say about the situation.
Dope.
Look at it too.
I'm right there with it. One thing I like to mention is, what do you think Zoro would have done if Zoro was put in the same exact situation Sanji was, with all the same context and circumstances? What would Zoro do? I think Zoro would do the same thing. Honestly, like go off the whole cake. At the very least, that's how I think. I think Zoro would handle it the same way, just because his immediate thought is, the crew's safety. Nami, Brook, Chopper, they were all in danger. He should go to Whole Cake first and then deal with the rest later. And that's how I would have been handled. I think
Story precedence with that. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. But at the same time, Sanji's kind of known for just doing things on his own sometimes. And we see him do that like a lot in the pre-time skip, but he just kind of goes off. Zoro doing the same thing in that, I'm not too sure, but I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying, yeah.
Say it was Kuina. Say it was Kuina.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, fair,
like,
fair.
Why
fair.
why was Zoro
yeah.
like Zoro, like Zeph and Kuina, the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
fair,
why
fair.
wouldn't he do it? I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, Zoro's never been put in a situation like that to begin with. Oda never put Zoro in those situations, so you can guess that Zoro wouldn't do it. But again, with those circumstances, with that context, I mean, look what Luffy did for Ace. He went into Impel Down just to save Ace. Like, when someone you care about to that degree is on the line, you only think about their safety and you think about the other safety. And I mean, that's how I'd see it. And then just to add on to the Sora thing, again, if you think Sora's sacrifice is wasted by this, I don't think you were paying attention to Whole Cake Island at all. The whole point of Sora's sacrifice was Sanji saving the Germa. That's what it was about. It wasn't about him unlocking his exoskeleton later on. Sora's sacrifice was already paid in full after he saved Germa, because of his own kindness that his mother tried to protect, the fact that Reiju harped onto it to Luffy in particular. The fact that Reiju saved Sanji from Judge is due to the fact that he maintained his kindness from Sora. So that's all been paid in full. This is just a benefit for everyone now. Sanji unlocking his exoskeleton, it's a benefit.
Dessert.
Yeah.
It's literally just
Yeah. I mean, like, he got the Ray suit, which has one of the things that he really wanted when he was a kid, the invisibility power. Like, he wanted that. It was almost like a reward in a way. Whereas, like, you've done all of this, and then now you get this ability that you kind of want when you were a child, and you're using it in the way that you want to use it to protect those that are closest to you. The Straw Hats or Momonosuke when he needs help, like, and that is in lockstep with what he is. I think the shield of the Straw Hats. So, I mean, that's just how I just can't find any real fault to it outside of, well, people don't like it because A, fuck Sanji because he's a pervert, and then B, because Sanji's getting a little bit too much. We didn't pay attention to Whole Cake Island, probably because we wanted to get to one country immediately, and here we are, and it's happening now, and we're mad, whatever reason. It's dumb stuff like that. I just avoid Twitter, please, Christ.
Avoid Twitter. Yeah, I'm almost stuck.
Judge.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't. No, go ahead. I think my things are lagging a little bit.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm just saying I'm stuck on Twitter, so I don't have a choice.
Oh. No, I was just gonna say Judge owes Sora.
Yes.
Judge owes Sora a big one. It was it's all Sora's doing. It was all Sora's sacrifice that got him there. Sora was there with Sanji on top of that table at Whole Cake Island when he was looking down on his family. Sora was there right with him because it was Sora's sacrifice that saved Sanji's emotions, and then that emotion saved the family.
Like, look how happy she was when Sanji cooked food and then told her to have a good day. Yeah. It was like, that was such a, like, just those simple things made her so happy just to see Sanji where she was crying. And yeah, like, the food was terrible, but it didn't matter because that's what she cared about the most. For Sanji mentally wasn't like the others. He was genuinely a human being and could be a good person.
Right.
And that's what she wanted the most. And I just can't see how we can complain when Sanji, yeah, he has that physique like the other kids do, like the other boys do. But look at him as a person. Like, they say it over and over again. Like, Brooke said it so many times. I think Rachel so many times, where Sanji's a kind person. He's a kind-hearted person. And you see that time and time again. So, I mean, we can't complain. People don't have the right to complain. No, they don't. Period. Period.
Yo, everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe here to get the latest from the channel. Also, check out some other videos that might suit your specific tastes.